Guys, you are not going to believe this. It's scientifically proven that the Earth is not flat. Did I genuinely have to say that? Right, so lots of people who are on the Earth and have brain stems know that the Earth is round. It's pretty easy to get your head around. But over the past few years, there's been some people who have only just woken up from a coma that they had since the Middle Ages, and these people are the Flat Earthers. I'm sure everyone's glad to hear that name again. So basically, the Flat Earthers are people who believe that the Earth isn't round, as we've known for the past hundreds of years, but they think that the Earth is actually flat. And that is the stupidest thing that I've heard in my entire life. Even after the countless scientific discoveries about the Earth and the solar system and all of its planets, these people with their 2 GCSEs and no scientific degrees believe that the Earth being flat is an absolutely correct theory and nobody should be dissing it at all, not even the actual scientists who are actually right and actually do the proper research. Oh god. So the flat earthers' downfall is basically the research. That's what we ascertained. So these flat earthers are gonna have to be proven wrong because their research is terrible and their ideas are terrible as well. And who better to prove it than the guy who made Calling Elsa at Frozen 2, OMG, she actually answered, comes to my house, and how Avengers Endgame should have ended. I mean, come on, why wouldn't you believe someone who made The Shaggy Chronicles the best TV series in the entirety of YouTube? But enough about me and more about the plonkers of the Flat Earthers. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to go over a certain amount. I don't know, I'm recording this before I wrote the rest of the script. But anyway, we're going to be looking through a few of the Flat Earthers' terrible ideas. So let's get straight into the video. So basically, the first thing that these Flat Earthers are saying is that when you pour water onto a ball, it doesn't stick. But when you pour water onto a plate, it does stick. Well, that is some fantastic evidence, mate. I'm sure you've got like 16 PhDs. Now, just to say, this guy isn't actually an idiot. He's just making this video for a bit of a laugh. But there is a bit of truth to this. And sadly, this is a real thing. People actually believe that this fact about a ball not being able to hold water is a proof that the Earth is flat. And if you have any sort of understanding of anything in the world, you'll know that a ball of the size that this guy is holding is not as big as the ball or the apparent ball of the size that is the Earth. And let me explain to you why that matters. Right, so the mass of the Earth is something like 5 point something 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 times 10 to the 24, which is basically if you got the number 5 and shoved 24 zeros after it and then called that the mass of the Earth, because it is. And the mass of about what this guy was holding, which is the same as a cricket ball really, is 160 grams. Now, thinking about it, is holding a 160 gram ball in your hand and pouring water over it really going to have the same effect as having a 5 quadrillion trillion kilogram massive ball in space and sticking water onto that? Because really, it doesn't compare. Right, quick quantum physics lesson. Everything in the universe bends space-time because it's got mass. That's a fact. And I hope that the flat earthers haven't disproved that already, because otherwise this is an unnecessary argument. But because everything creates this bend in space-time, that is what creates gravity, right? So, if gravity is created because of the mass of the object, is having a tennis ball as your comparison to the Earth actually going to matter? A tennis ball is not going to pull you towards it at the same rate that the Earth pulls you towards it because of the size of it. So the comparisons are wrong, and if anybody tries to disprove that, they're going to have to try and disprove factual science, and that would be a pretty stupid thing to do. Right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is how stupid the actual model of the flat Earth is, and it is pretty stupid. So here it is in all its glory. Now, this thing really doesn't make sense, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is how it would actually be able to exist in space. And frankly, it wouldn't. Like, how does gravity exist on the flat Earth? Because I lots of flat earthers say that gravity exists because the Earth is moving at 9.8 meters a second upwards. One, how? Two, is everything else also doing that? And three, that sounds pretty stupid. I mean, I think we already got that. So we know that gravity can't work on the flat Earth, but something that also can't work is the sun and moon, and that, I mean, you can't deny that those exist, because if you go outside and you look up, there's the sun. If you wait till night time and you look up, there's the moon. So yeah, what you want about? So on a flat Earth, the sun would be going around it in a circle, and apparently that's supposed to make the light, but there's a pretty big problem with that. How is light not travelling from the sun to all the parts of the Earth? And I'm probably thinking that flat earthers are going to complain and say that we make figures and graphs that say that the the sun, it makes rays that go straight, and they're right because the light goes straight. What I think they're trying to like prove apparently is that we say that the sun makes straight light rays, okay? And that because those light rays are straight, then the sun will only be able to light up a certain part of the Earth at one time. And that is true, but not in the sense of the flat Earth. So if the flat Earth actually existed, which only like a few people really believe, so it's useless thinking about it. But if it actually did, then the sun would shine on every part of the Earth because those straight light rays are going out in every direction, not just like one direction. All light goes out everywhere, and the fact that we're using straight light rays is still true, which should be obvious in the first place, but apparently not. So, other than light rays, what else? Uh, oh yeah, all the other stars in the universe. What about them? Are the stars accelerating at 9.86 meters a second, as well as the Earth? And what about the star patterns and how the stars move in the sky? The Earth should be rotating and creating a different sky all the time, but if the Earth is flat, it's always going to be the same. So are you saying that the Earth is also rotating all the time, which would technically mean it's not accelerating upwards, it's accelerating in a circle and like turning to the left or right to make a circle? Or are you saying that the stars are rotating around the Earth, which in your sense, in your like idea, of the flat earth, that might make sense because you believe that the earth is the center of the universe. But really, that still wouldn't make sense because the stars would have to be rotating around the earth. And if the stars are millions of light years away, then they couldn't be rotating around something that's millions of light years away. So, basically, the entirety of the model of the flat earth is flawed. But there's still more things to talk about. So, the final point I'm going to be talking about is this. What is this? I hear none of you ask. So, these windmills are obviously lower than the horizon because the earth has to be curved. But no flat earthers seem to be recognizing the fact that this happens, even though it's a common occurrence. All the flat earthers go to a beach, get out their cameras, and film an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, estimate how far away it is, and then claim that that is proof that the earth is flat because you can still see it from the imaginary distance that these guys are thinking of. Now, I've literally just shown the flat earthers in this video exactly the opposite of that happening. So if people still believe that the earth is flat after seeing this video, I genuinely cannot think of any way to save humanity after this. Looks like we'll just have to wait for the eventual decline of England after Brexit and the destruction of the earth from global warming so that we can have the sweet release from the pain that the flat earthers are causing us. But for now, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you aren't flat earthers, and if you like the video, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you're watching in school and the teachers watching this, because I hope they are, because apparently there's a debate on about flat earth, if you're a flat earther teacher, shush. What's poppin', Bazingalingers? See you guys next time.